blogbossingwithout.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make the absolute best sourdough biscuits. They are so buttery and fluffy and crumbly. So good. They make the perfect breakfast or side, however you want to serve them. They're so good and they're really simple to make. Let's get started making the recipe. I'm going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour to a bowl. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of cold butter. And I just chopped it up into cubes. Okay, and then we're going to crumble it up until it becomes like pea-sized. You're really going to smash it in. You can use this with a pastry blender, or you could even do it in your food processor, which actually is way, way, way easier. It's to do it in that. So if you have those tools, use them. But I like using my hands. You also want to be careful not to overwork your dough so that we get a tough biscuit. All right, so now as you can see, it's like really finely, like pea-sized clumps or smaller. If there are any big ones, you can just clump them up or smash them. Okay, and the dough starts to kind of come together a little bit if I squeeze it. All right, there we go. Okay, so then to this, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of starter. And this is active starter. I fed it approximately 4 hours ago. A 1/2 cup of water. Now you probably could use milk too. I don't normally do that just because I can't normally drink regular milk. I can have butter, but I can't have regular milk. And also I usually long ferment this, and so I don't want the milk staying out all night long or for 24 hours. So I use water, and honestly I just use room temperature water. And then 2 tablespoons of honey. And I'm going to mix this all together. If your dough is looking a little dry, you can add a teaspoon at a time more of water. Okay, once that is totally done, you have 2 options. Now you can just make it right away and finish the rest of the ingredients, or you can cover it with a towel and let it ferment up to 24 hours to really help break down all the phytic acid and help break down some of the gluten. I know in our family, we have some gluten sensitivity, so we can tolerate long fermented sourdoughs. So usually I'll ferment them for around 18 to 24 hours before I make them. And this really just helps improve that digestibility. But if you do not have a problem with gluten at all, then you can just continue making them. For the name of television or YouTube, I'm just gonna keep going with it. All right, so to this, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to sprinkle it over, try to do it as evenly as possible. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. And then you're just going to use your hands and kind of mix it up, combine it well. Because you want to make sure that everything is really well combined. And I kind of like to stretch and fold it over itself. Alright, so I want to put it onto a floured surface, and one trick that I've learned recently is normally when you flour something, you know, whenever you have to make bread or biscuits, trying to get the flour to the surface. Well, we have a hard time digesting regular gluten, and so I was like, I can't do the floured surface because I can't do any unfermented grains. So instead, recently I've been adding gluten-free flour to my surfaces when I need to roll the dough in some flour. And that has worked really well for us. So I am just gonna flour my surface here. Pat out my dough. And if it's a little sticky, just add a little bit more flour. And you're gonna want it to be about a 1/2 inch thick. And then I'm gonna take my handy dandy drinking glass, mason jar drinking glass, which is actually a mason jar. And I'm gonna cut out my circles. And you can use anything really that's circulated around that's big enough. You could use a biscuit cutter, you could use a drinking glass, which is usually what I use, mason jar. Great. And I'm gonna make the perfect little biscuit. I'm going to put it on my cast iron skillet, but you could definitely do it in a baking sheet. Usually I like to use a parchment lined baking sheet. And I'm just going to all the leftovers. I'm going to do this again. Press it out. Okay, get one more good one, and then the last one always looks a little funny. Make it into a little pretty shape and plop it in there because it's so good I can still eat it. Then I'm gonna stick these in a 400-degree oven for about 20-ish minutes, even possibly up to 30. Whenever they start turning golden brown, you'll know they're ready. All right, I just pulled these from the oven and they look so good and they smell so good. Those look delicious. Look how light and fluffy they are. I cannot wait to dig in. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial today on how to make sourdough biscuits that you can be long fermented or the quick version. Either or, really good, really buttery, perfect. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and share with your friends. I share 2 new videos every single week on simple recipes, DIY projects, and natural living products. Thanks for stopping by, and I really hope you like this recipe. In the description box below, I will share the blog post that has all the tips and tricks in making this and also the principal recipe card. And you can find where to get all the ingredients in the description also. Thanks for coming by. Look at that. Gosh. It's so weird that I'm smelling my food. Yum, 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 yum. And then there's the little sad one. Ow. There's a little sad one. It looks a little funky.